Thank you, and welcome to the May 1st meeting of the Easthampton City Council. Could I have a roll call, please?
Justin Cobb.
Present.
Don Psychowski.
Hanging on.
Salem Derby.
Present.
Dan Hagan. Joseph McCoy.
Here.
Chester Ogilevitz.
Present.
Dan Rist.
Here.
Joy Winnie.
Here.
Nathan Ziegler.
Here.
Could I have approval of the minutes of the previous meeting?
So moved.
Second.
I abstain, I wasn't here.
We have a motion on the table to approve the minutes of the previous meeting. Any further comment? Councilor Psychowski?
He's
Abstain. Okay. Any other comment on the minutes? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
One abstention. Okay. Public speak time. If there's anybody in the audience who would like to step forward and speak to council at this time on any item not currently on the public hearing
All
agenda,
wearing invisible shields.
please step forward and address the council.
Uh-oh.
Hi, I'm Kathy Lynch, I'm the station manager at Channel 5 in Easthampton and also a member of the Local Works Committee. So I'm just reminding everyone here today to get online, go visit our website, our Local Works website at localworkseasthampton.org and take the local preferences survey. That's all. Not controversial at all.
Thank you.
.org?
Is there anyone else in the public who would like to step forward and speak to the council on any item not on our public hearing agenda? Seeing none, communications from elected officials and correspondence, Councilor McCoy.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. A couple of communications. First of all, we have notification from the Cottage Street Cultural District. They're going to have their official launch in recognition of that award that we probably read in the paper. That will be Friday, May 3rd at 4 p.m. It's going to be at the municipal parking lot across on Cottage Street, across from KW Home, Amy's Place, right in that area. There'll be a ribbon cutting and celebration of this recognition of the Cottage Street area as a cultural district. Also a reminder that Monday, May 27th is Memorial Day, and our Veterans Council will again be sponsoring the parade. It starts roughly around 10 and takes the usual course from Clark Street, ending up the library, where there will be laying of wreaths and speeches and some music as well. So just a reminder to participate if you'd like on the Memorial Day Parade on Monday, May 27th. And lastly, if you haven't heard enough about elections, it's just a reminder that our biennial city elections are coming up this fall. Nomination papers will be available Monday, July 1st. The election itself is on Tuesday, November 5th. There's a series of dates that you may want to have the information if you're interested in running. So check with the city clerk for additional information. But the beginning date would be July 1st for nomination papers. And that concludes.
Thank you. Before we actually go on, I'd like to just make one more announcement. May 19th is our Big Rig Day. Those who haven't attended it in the past, it's a real interesting event. I'm hoping to bring my grandson with me this year. That said, reports to standing committees, rules, Councilor Rist.
Mayor Communications.
Mayor Communications, please. Thank you for that.
He does have an item.
One item. One item on the agenda and one additional item. I'll go with the agenda item first. You have in front of you the FY 2014 city budget. It does use a small amount of one-time reserves from both enterprise and free cash to balance. We received a total request of just over $37.4 million. That was cut by about $1.1 million for a final budget of $36,325,742, or overall, including spending from all sources, a 3.2% increase. Fairly significant portion of that is a CPA change in the way that we do an appropriation, so you'll see a significant amount of increase in the CPA relative to the size of that budget. A little bit more money in debt. You'll see the details. I know you just received it. I don't expect you to have any questions, but I'm available if you do at any time, and the finance subcommittee will be scheduling whatever meetings they
here. Are there any quick questions for him? Councilor Rist, could I ask you to move this to finance?
Sure. I'll make a motion to move the budget to the Finance Committee for review.
Second. We have a motion on the table to move the fiscal year 2014 budget to finance for review. Any further comment on this motion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any objections or abstentions? Hearing none, motion passes.
Mr. President, I have one item that isn't on your agenda, just an announcement that there's a public meeting on May 7th at 6:30 PM in this room to discuss anaerobic digestion and the feasibility study we're doing to implement that technology in conjunction with our wastewater operations off of Ferry Street. Tigan Bond has been hired with the use of a state grant to do a feasibility review. This is the first formal step in that review, so it's an opportunity for the public to hear a little bit about what anaerobic digestion really is, to raise whatever concerns they have immediately, and to get on a list so that we can continue to have a dialogue about it as it moves forward. I know that it's a subject that not all of us are going to be very familiar with. I've done a little bit of research and might be able to answer any minor questions you have now. But the event that on May 7th at 6:30 PM on the second floor here at 50 Payson Avenue is the official public meeting that kicked this effort off.
And there'll be people there who can answer any technical questions.
Well, there'll be people there who are going to be doing the feasibility study.
Okay.
They may not have answers, so that's the purpose of the study is to, I mean, if we hear the questions, that'd be great. If folks have questions, you know, is there an odor, how many trucks, whatever, at least they'll know that those are the item, I mean, those are a couple of items that we know we're looking at, but it's always good to hear from, more and more people. It'll also be an opportunity to identify exactly where where it's proposed or where we're going to look at its potential location, which is immediately adjacent to the wastewater plant.
Okay. Thank you. Anybody have any quick questions for the mayor?
Thank you.
Thank you. Reports of standing committees. Councilor Rist.
No report for Rules of Government Relations, sir.
Okay, Finance, Councilor Rist.
Yes, I will step in for Councilor Hagan. We did meet last Wednesday, and we discussed the following items. Interdepartmental transfer of $7,800 was approved. I will make a public hearing at the end of my report. The supplemental funding for bonding request for $422,838 for an ambulance and dump truck has extended discussion, and we will finalize that discussion at the May 8th meeting. It has to do with whether we wish to go into bonding or borrowing for the purchase of large items such as an ambulance. So anyone who's interested ought to attend that meeting. We did discuss and voted to approve the SHARPS program that came from the Health Department. We will vote on that. We will request a vote for that on May 15th. It does not need a public hearing. We will continue to discuss the senior work-off program, and as the city budget has been sent to us, we will amend our agenda for the finance meeting, which is next May 8th at 6 o'clock, to include chapters 1, 8, and 9 of the budget under new business. I would like to make a motion, therefore, to request a public hearing for the interdepartmental transfer of $7,800 to fund the June 25th election, and a public hearing to fund the supplemental funding bonding request for $422,838 for May 15th at 6:15 in these chambers. That's a motion.
Second.
We have a motion on the table to set a public hearing for the interdepartmental transfer of $7,800 for the purpose of funding the June 25th, 2013 special state election. And we also have a motion for the same date for May 15th at 6:15 in these chambers for the supplemental appropriation and bonding of $422,838 for the new ambulance, cardiac monitor, and heavy-duty dump truck for that date. Are there any further comments on this motion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Joe, second.
Any objections or abstentions?
I would also
Motion is
like,
approved for that public hearing.
okay, I'd also like to announce that we will ask the council to vote on the request for the SHARPS program as it was submitted and approved by the Finance Committee at the May 15th meeting. And that will conclude. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Public safety, Councilor McCoy.
No report tonight, Mr. President.
Councilor Winnie, appointments, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. 4 appointments were reviewed tonight, the appointment subcommittee meeting, and 4 were voted favorably to bring forth to City Council for approval. So I will make this in the form of a motion. that the following people be appointed to the following departments. Walter Hudzikowicz, Conservation Commission, with the term of expiration of December 31st, 2013. Nancy Stenberg, National Aquatic Pond Committee, 12/31/2015. Elaine Wood, National Aquatic Pond Committee, 12/31/2015. And Megan Murphy Forget, the ECA Plus Committee, 12/31/2014.
Second.
We have a motion on the table to recommend approval of the aforementioned mayoral appointments for Conservation Commission, National Aquatic Pond Committee, and ECA Plus. Any further discussion on this motion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any objections or abstentions? Motion passes. One more item, Councilor Williams,
Yes,
please.
thank you, sir. Under new business, we have a mayoral appointment. I move that that be put down into appointment subcommittee meeting.
Second.
We have a motion on the table to move the aforementioned appointment from under new business to the appointments committee for review. Is there any further discussion on this motion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any objections or abstention? Motion passes.
Thank you. Our next appointment subcommittee meeting will be held May 15th here in council chambers at 5:45. That's the conclusion of my report tonight, Mr. President.
Thank you, Councilor.
Thank you.
Ordinance, Councilor Derby.
Thank you, Mr. President. Just a couple announcements. We will be having a joint public meeting, public hearing with the planning board on May 14th at 6:15. And that's in relation to the residential kitchens. And then we also are going to be meeting for our regularly scheduled meeting on May 22nd at 6 p.m. in Conference Room B, where we're going to be discussing the special permitting process. That concludes my report.
Did you want to, okay. That said, Councilor Derby again, property.
Thank you, Mr. President. So property is going to be meeting in Conference Room 1, May 6th at 6 p.m. to discuss the Glendale West Street intersection. And in lieu of that, I guess I would like to schedule a public hearing for these chambers for May 15th at 6:15 on that item.
Second.
We have a motion on the table to set a public hearing for the Glendale West Loudville Pomeroy Meadow Lane Road intersection land acquisitions, May 15th at 6:15 in these chambers. Is there any further discussion on this motion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any objections or abstentions? Motion passes.
That concludes my report, Mr. President.
Thank you. We have one old business pending that was mentioned last week, where to satisfy the request of the open meeting law, we need to announce our votes. I'll ask the city clerk how you'd like to do that. You want to do it by roll call or roll call?
Sure.
I can speak for Councilor Hagan, who is not present. He did submit this in writing.
Okay, yep. I got that. You want to announce it?
I have it right
Oh,
here.
okay. All right, so Don was not there. So I guess Justin Cobb,
Laura Scott.
Salem Derby,
Laura Scott.
Dan Hagan,
Louis Levin.
Joe McCoy,
Laurie Garcia.
Chester Ogalevitz,
Laura Scott.
Dan Rist,
Teresa Bauer.
Joy Winnie,
Laura Scott.
Nathan Ziegler.
Wendy G. Blumenthal.
Thank you very much. That said, since we have no more new business, and since we do not have any items on the public hearing agenda tonight,
Move that the council meeting be adjourned.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion on the table to adjourn. Any further comment on this motion? Hearing none, all those in favor? Aye. Any objections or abstentions? Meeting is adjourned.
14.
Thank you very much.
Rebecca, you look good with your pistol
Yeah,
there.
we all saw. How was it?
We were jealous.
I was terrified.
I was that scared.
I like to be
So did they have
Yesterday, but looking at the chief.
Do you know her?
No.
Would be a relative, who knows? The funny thing is we first had to vote whether or not to be public or private. And on this side of the table said public, the other side, we all voted for those.
And they had someone
private.
hiding there.
So then the next vote was on whether, just because she was the lead.
Look at that, whether or not she should my dog.
Well, I remember that. I remember that. And I voted against
That's
it.
the benefits of
That,
having
you know, she should be.
You hit somebody.
We had a deadline, she didn't make the deadline. But that's that one.
Those rubber bullets hurt.
Well, then, you know, they come up and they do their spiel, and I'm like, no.
But you got the bad guy.
Her being allowed to move forward, but now that she's
Were they
on the-
loud?
Let's go.
Do they use
I'm not. Don't blame me.
a little bit, not quite as loud as a,
Oh my God.
as a
Shows you got a sense of
blank?
humor.
Get sick on me. I feel like my life here, dog. Get sick on me. It's like,
You didn't put your name in at Northampton for some of the jobs up and over there?